Just keep it going. Just keep it going.
Warning. Stand by for countdown. Prepare audience with maximum impact. Full immersion begins in.
My black people, it's all about the unity. It's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. I'm a poor man, no. I'm a soul man. Yes, sir. I'm a soul man. I'm a soul man.
You couldn't be so. You couldn't be so. You couldn't be so. You couldn't be so.
They see something that I don't see. What can you learn from a bum, Omar? Amsterdam? What I learned from a bum, maybe is what not to do.
Nobody takes down Angus Snub 7 easy. There's a reason why, after 100 channels destroyed, Angus Snub 7 is still here. There's a reason, but you don't take me seriously.
wabami. I was mezani, I wore that. Already mezali, come and check us. Tuko kwa table, champagne, pombe mezani, mambuske jani. Pass me puff, then ongeza majani. Kwani kuna mtu achani. Hey, aligani, wako hadi mojuti, hadi hatari. Take pita, soup, ndo mandhari. Atileta wanalamba vidole, ni beat so sweet, mpiga vidole. High five, why lie?
Don't you know? Talking about a revolution song. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution song. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution song. Tonight we wanna have
I can handle the hard question. See, they say that Angel Snub Nub 7 don't care about people. But Angel Snub Nub 7 is about the people because I'm bold enough to tell you the truth, and I don't give a damn if you give me a dime. I'm not looking for your money.
My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody who.
We are in a state of emergency. Prejudice. Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here it goes.
free your mind.
Just keep it going.
Hey, Angel Snub 7. What's going on? Oh man, y'all go and subscribe to our brother Angel Snub 7. This man has overcome some stuff that I don't think the average individual could overcome and fight their way out of. You're a true warrior. I got a lot of respect for you. I know you done been through a lot of stuff on YouTube, but these people could not walk in your shoes and come out. They couldn't. Angel Snub 7, y'all. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. I'm telling y'all, this man is like a real warrior. He's a fighter, the real kind, not the one that just be talking running their mouth. The one that really fights and keeps going and going and going. Even when even when the chips are down, you got people that get up, dust stuff off, and keep going. That's what Angel Snub 7 does.
Just keep it going.
You couldn't be so. You couldn't be so. You couldn't be so.
Now, what was that you were saying earlier, T?
What I was saying was,
Now, what was that you were saying earlier, T?
what I was saying was, what you do?
What you do?
Where you at?
Where you at?
Oh, you got plans.
Oh, you got
Hey,
plans.
don't say that.
Shut
your trap unless you hear.
unless you hear.
Open your.
Just keep it going.
Y'all coming.
Come on through.
Come on, y'all. We want to see you.
It's going down tonight, y'all.
Throughout the 19th century and all across the United States, brand new settlements popped up along the American landscape as folks migrated west. Towns were especially seen post-Civil War, when the country wasn't embroiled by conflict and could focus more on westward expansion. No such town defines this latter sentimentality quite like Wild West lore, both built and established entirely by African Americans during the Reconstruction period. To understand more about its longevity and surviving the test of time, as well as to shine light onto one of the most fascinating bits of American history, here is a closer look.
Bro, you a genius. I ain't gonna lie. I swear, you're gonna go down like a Elijah Muhammad or a Malcolm X with this. You finna go down in history with this one. I swear to God, bro. Yeah, but bro, you know, you your own, you different, bro. Yeah. I mean, to think of that. I mean, bro, this is genius. Like, I don't just say stuff just to be saying it. Like, I swear to God, bro, you are really on something to come up with this. I don't know how you came up with this.
Now, what was that you were saying earlier, T?
What I was saying was, what you do? What you do? Where you at? Where you at? Oh, you got plans?
Oh, you got plans?
Don't say that. Shut your trap. Unless you hear.
Unless you
I'm ready. I've always been ready. I've wanted to be a part of this group since I was 2 years old. I'm ready. That's up. Joseph, I'm not myself. Trust me.
We didn't have a choice. We was already doing for ourselves. We don't need to believe no more. We need to know.
Come on through, y'all. It's going down tonight, y'all.
y'all coming?
Come on through.
Come on, y'all. We want to see you.
It's going down tonight, y'all.
Okay, how's the brother? All right. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, we all right. We online.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone, and thank you, brother, and also thanks to everyone listening in on the live stream, to your brother, soul brother Taalib, and also an advocate and you know, a co-advocate for the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign, and also too, I just want to go straight in on what I want to talk about concerning this topic on why our ancestors should have listened to President Abraham Lincoln in the year of 1862 when he summoned Black clergymen of his time as well as Black leaders of his time to the White House to propose the ideal of colonization in another country for our people who were yet to be freed from slavery while the Civil War was still going on during that time. Now, mind you, we were freed from chattel slavery in 1865, but this meeting took place in Washington, D.C. at the White House on August 14, 1862. And here's
something I would like to read that was included within his address to these leaders of that time, which still has a lot of relevancy to the day. Over 2 centuries later, in the year of 2024, and but let me move on to this part where he talks about which is speaking in this particular paragraph, where he is addressing these clergymen. Now, it says right here, I'm gonna start at the beginning so you can get a full, clear understanding of what I'm about to go further into on this topic. Okay, having all been seated, the president, after a few preliminary observations, informed them that a sum of money had been appropriated by Congress and placed at his disposition for the purpose of aiding the colonization in some country of the people or a portion of them of African descent, thereby making it his duty, as it had been for a long time, been his inclination to favor that cause, and why he asks, should the people of your race be colonized, and where? Why should they leave this country? This is perhaps the first question for proper consideration. You and we are different races. This right here now, we stop right here. This is Abraham Lincoln himself speaking. This is just the introduction toward this statement. But anyway, you and we, I'm gonna repeat again, you and we are different races. We have between us a broader difference than exists between almost any other two races. Whether it is right or wrong, I need not discuss, but this physical difference is a great disadvantage to us both, as I think your race suffer very greatly, and many of them by living among us, while are suffering from your presence. Speaking of white people, feeling uncomfortable about our presence in this nation at that time and still today. In a word, we suffer on each side. If this is omitted, it affords a reason at least why we should be separated. Okay, and then I will move on to this next one, and then I will go in furthermore on what this basically is about. Okay, the president, perhaps you have long been free, or all your lives. He's talking to the freed, supposed to be freed blacks at that time who weren't on the plantation. Okay, talking about these clergymen and leaders these clergy and leaders that he's addressing, excuse me. Your race are suffering, in my judgment, the greatest wrong inflicted on any people. But even when you cease to be slaves, you are yet far removed from being placed on an equality with the white race. You are cut off from many of the advantages which the other race enjoy. The aspiration of man is to enjoy equality with the best when free. But on this broad continent, not a single man of your race is made the equal of a single man of ours. Go where you are treated the best, and the ban is still upon you. Okay. And then, he goes to talking about how the country was engaged in war at that time. But then here, be patient with me, family. I'm just checking out something before I go further. Okay. But for your race amongst us, there could not be a war. Talking about what was behind the purpose of the Civil War. That's what he was referencing when he said that. Although many men engaged on either side do not care for you one way or the other. He was talking about the Confederacy and the Union side of the Army. Okay. Nevertheless, I repeat, without the institution of slavery and the colored race as a basis, the war could not have been in existence. Okay, let me stop here. All right. Okay, this clearly, right there, tells you, brothers and sisters, whether we're in the Confederate South or the Union North, okay, which is a component of the entire continental United States of America, right? And the nation as a whole, of course. I would say that we still see the implications today of when Abraham Lincoln warned those leaders of that time that basically we would never be equals in this country. And you could see that through job discrimination, housing discrimination, wealth discrimination, the gap, the wealth gap between us as two groups of people in this country. And when he said, okay, and also too, you got to keep in mind as well, is that when he mentioned, when he mentioned here that we have between us a broader difference than exists between almost any other two races. Okay, now at that time, we know that we didn't have all these different other type of groups in this country like we see now, especially with the immigrants and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you notice, even though we have a climate situation going on now with the United States government and the president, soon to be incoming president, Donald J. Trump, who will be in the White House once again. That something that surrounds this crisis with the immigration issue. You got to understand, remember, them immigrants still get second-hand preferences and priority over us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. Because, number one, when they first come over here, the first thing they're taught to say is the nigger word or the N-word, as some of you may prefer to, censor it. But that's what they're taught. They're taught not to have nothing to do with us. They're taught that we're lazy, shiftless, and never would amount to nothing. But yet, our ancestors built this country for over 300 years, okay? which they wasn't told that. And they also, many of them, or some of them, may or may not realize that we're the reason that they were able to get into this country, because it was a time when they wasn't letting any black or brown immigrants into this country prior to the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. Okay? But they still get firsthand or secondhand, like I said, preferential treatment over us. You don't see that many African immigrants, though they're darker than us or dark as us. And even some of the ones that do slip through the cracks and is able to get into the United States coming from Latin America or the Caribbean, you don't even see them getting gunned down or murdered mercilessly like you do the typical so-called American Negro or Black American or African American, whichever way you want to look at it, you know, in this nation. So right there again, right there back to that statement that President Lincoln made. There is a unique difference between us. Even more so, like he mentioned, than any other group of people. Because you got to understand our history with these people of over 400 years in this nation. We've been up under them. We've been on the front lines dealing with them more than these immigrants have. But see, here's the thing with that. And I don't really want to get on the immigrants because that's not my concern. And really at this point, more so, I could care less at all about that. But I want to say this. Them black and brown immigrants, they finna get they nigga wake up call and understand the Black American experience for what it's been for all these years and for what we tried to do to warn them. So now they got to learn the hard way on their own. And you know what? I don't have no sympathy for them. And now enough is with that. I would say that when Abraham Lincoln proposed that ideal, he was trying to get us actually sent to a colony, which is the modern nation today called Panama, Central America, down in Panama. You know, many of you who know about Panama know about the canal. Many of you who know about Panama know about when they overthrew the former President Noriega, Manuel Noriega down there doing the so-called war on drugs and all that crap back in the 80s. You know, Panama is known for some other things too, outside of politics, but although that nation has its own dark-skinned population, but we would have been included amongst that dark-skinned population. But like he said, we would have been more accepted at that time as equals to help establish that colony into becoming the nation that it is obviously today. Like in the case of Liberia, which was during another period of time prior to Abraham Lincoln's, you know, delegation speech, you know, that happened, I believe, during the 1800s, but a few decades before that, during that time of the Civil War, where they had a thing called, an organization called the American Colonization Society, where they were sending ex-slaves over to Liberia. And those ex-slaves were the ones that established what is now known as today the Republic of Liberia. So that was not too far off from what he was trying to administer as a message to those Black leaders of that time in this nation. And had those Black leaders, including Frederick Douglass, who reacted to this ideal, took heed, we would probably be indeed and for once and all a free people. Now, many people felt, and yes, Abraham Lincoln owned slaves, and he did, illustrate racist tendencies. But what president, or was particularly white president in this nation in history, hasn't shown racial tendencies toward soul people? I mean, hey, Thomas Jefferson, who owned slaves, and he was supposed to have been one of the founding fathers of this nation, warned America during his time that if they did not do something about the so-called American Negro race problem, that things would get worse. And he foresaw this centuries ago. And Abraham Lincoln blatantly let it be known. I even read in some other from some other sources, research years ago by myself, that he even actually said that he believed that the so-called Negro could never be capable of holding public office in this nation. This is why you saw the former president, Barack Obama, get the treatment that he got while he was in the White House. You see these indications, you have leaders from these past generations warning what was to come and what is to come further from even this point. But every time the Caucasian gave you an open chance in our history to do something about our plight, we refused or found some excuse, even like what he was trying to do by appropriating money through federal funds to actually put us on a colony where they even had natural resources like coal mines, which could have helped us, to economically get to the point of actually becoming a full self-sufficient nation, independently of our own. You see, and see this document, even the part out of this document I read, and the whole entire document of his delegation speech, do you ever hear people even like Farrakhan bringing that up? Every time he talk about politics, he'll talk about certain different things, but he don't never bring up what Abraham Lincoln said. You don't never even hear Elijah Muhammad in his old speeches bring up this historical document. I don't even think you ever heard Dr. King bring up this historical document. Marcus Garvey didn't bring up this historical document. Even some other leaders who were considered as freedom fighters over different periods of time in this nation when it comes to soul people did not ever mention this. We have mentioned a whole lot of other stuff, but we don't never mention certain more important, significant things when it comes to ideals toward our liberation. Because And listen here. I could go any further. I could go even more further into what he was trying to say too, because a lot of this stuff, and you know, I read even where some black leaders disagreed with it, and some may have agreed with it, right? But the majority of them didn't agree with it. That's why this ideal didn't ever come up off the ground, of course. But okay, hold up for a second. Okay. Okay, this is where he was telling, listen, okay, this is where he was actually telling our people right here, telling those leaders that he was addressing at that White House delegation that, but you ought to do something to help those who are not fortunate as yourself, speaking of them. See, during that time, they were considered, you know, they were considered amongst the elite of black people. You see what I'm saying? Even during the time of the Civil War, when chattel slavery was still existing in this nation. Okay, so as I go on further, hear what was said. There is an unwillingness on the part of our people, harsh as it may be, for you free colored people to remain with us. Ain't that today how the average particular Caucasian in this nation feels? Whether they're rich and whether even some of them are poor or middle class. Okay? Now, if you could give a star to white people, you will open a wide door for many to be made free. If we deal with those who are not free at the beginning, or whose intellect are clouded by slavery, we have very poor materials to start with. If intelligent colored men, such as are before me, him speaking to the leaders of that time, would move in this matter, much might be accomplished. It is exceedingly important that we have men at the beginning capable of thinking as white men and not those who have been systemically oppressed. Okay, let me stop right there. Okay, first of all, now I know many of you in the audience hearing this is going to take this as saying that, oh, so now you saying we should think as white people. Like I used to hear that comment made a lot in the so-called pro-black conscious community. No, what he is saying is, Negro, you need to start thinking as free people. If you understand the language and read clearly between the lines, exactly for what it is, that's what he's saying. I don't care how much of a racist he was. I don't care how many slaves he owned. Listen to the truth in the message. That's what he was saying. Okay? And I notice when I talk to other black people, even those who are related to me, about stuff like this that I'm speaking on topic about at this time, you start to get emotions, you know, emotional reactions, or he was a racist anyway, or he white. Why we want to listen to somebody that was a racist or slave? It don't make no difference. If like they say, if the truth fit if the truth fit the shoe, then wear it. That's what it is. you know, and you know, I want to say that there's another thing, not getting off a topic, but it's just like saying with Trump having 34 felony convictions, now that he's about to get back into the White House, he should use his platform at this time as the president to make life better for millions of other convicted felons in this country, which people got their own mixed opinions or feelings about whether he would actually do something like that or not. But that's my example of pointing out that you have certain people in positions that if we get the right like-minded people like me and Brother Angel Snup 7 to sit at the round table with somebody with that type of power, we could actually get some things done. Because the type of leadership that's been in these White House meetings with Trump in the past, obviously, we all see how that panned out. So there, once again, we find ourselves in the same position as so people in this nation. You know, and so I just you know, want to just say that when we came to you with proposing this Mississippi campaign a little bit over 6 years ago, when we first started proposing this ideal to the public, into those in social media, it fell on many deaf ears, you know, and as a result, like with anything else that fall on the deaf ears of our soul brothers and sisters, we still remain getting the same results, you know. You know, whether it's police brutality, racial profiling, housing discrimination, job discrimination, mass incarceration, you know, and all this other stuff that we still suffer today in this country. And to some extent, even worse than our ancestors did. Because see, one thing you got to understand, our ancestors at least knew and understood directly who the enemy was. Now, we're all confused. Those some between 40 or 50 million of us in this nation today are actually confused at who really the enemy or who the enemy really is. You know, so I mean, it's like we don't even know. This is why we more quick to be violently aggressive toward each other, emotional toward each other, because we don't know what to do. Although we know we're in this situation, but we just don't know what to do. So anytime someone brings an ideal to us, even coming from a Caucasian, like Mr. Abraham Lincoln himself, we quick to reject it because we want to be comfortable Negroes. We want to be comfortable Pharaoh Negro slaves. And that's the bottom line to it, you know? And this is why to this day, we still couldn't get the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign off the ground because we're scared of the unknown, of what it is to be able to live without white people in this nation. And now I would say that we have a situation that is just getting worse and worse every day. You know, most of our younger generation even ones now coming up into their 20s, don't really even know nothing about, unquote, Black history in this country. And that basically lies at the responsibility of older generations like ours that came before them. You know? And now most of us in our 50s, 60s, and on, so forth on, are afraid of these younger people. And you know, I remember years ago someone told me that, and it still resonates with me today. They said that it's going to come a time when the younger generation is going to attack us, older people from these present generations that we're from, because we did not sit down and teach them anything about our true history in this nation, about what our ancestors went through. You see? Because we relied on the systemic educational system to do it. You know, we relied on society to do it, which we see what that has panned out to be. So this is what we got. And now we're more scared of the younger generation than ever. Some of us don't even want to talk to them. Some of us don't even want to stand next to them. You know, because of fear of what they could do. You know, and you know, I have to say that there are a lot of our younger brothers and sisters out there that are actually bitter, built with full of hate, built with full of animosity. And you know what? To an extent, I would have to say rightfully so, because we didn't stand on our two front toes. We didn't stand on our two front toes. We didn't stand down on our two front toes to make sure that they were properly educated, like they're supposed to be, and guided to actually be the leaders of our future. You see? So now, when we tried to come with the idea of the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign to put them in position, which we still advocate for, to put them in a position to where they could be the leaders of our future and to carry the rest of us on to where we need to be as an actual free people, it just fell on deaf ears. So now, unborn generations coming from amongst us as soul people, how worse do you think that's going to be from what you see right now? Because most of you don't care. Most of you don't care because you know you're going to die. You older in age, you getting older in age, health bad, you know. You ain't got very much long left here, so you really don't care. But that's a selfish way of thinking, you know. And so this is what's going on right now in this time that we're living in. And you know, I want to say this: whether it get worse, how worse it get, as people keep talking about with Trump. Listen, man, let me say this here. I don't care. Actually, I done kind of limit watching the news since this election because, first of all, it only would drive me more crazier. Okay. And then another thing about that is that what time in history of the United States of America did black people ever go without suffering under any president in the White House? Tell me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Even during the Civil Rights Movement, when them 2 civil rights legislation bills was passed in 1964 and 65, was not so people at that time still catching hell in this country? Okay. Our leaders was getting assassinated left and right or put in prison, even to this day. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like, man, look, we have to understand and realize other people, the reason things are so, people are living in the array of so much fear right now, because they're starting to learn and understand what we've been going through in the so-called Black American experience for over the past 400 years in this nation. Now they're starting to realize what the Black American experience is now, because they're about to feel it. You see? So, but like I said, that's not on that part, that's not my concern, but all I was doing was making a point to let y'all know that they're beginning to see what we saw for hundreds of years. Even white people are now understanding, especially the poor class from among white people are understanding that now we see what Black people in this country have been going through. Because Trump, like he did before when he was in there, and like he would do again when he's in there, he's going to show them he don't give a damn about them neither. All he needed was their vote. You see? So, but the point is further is that it has never been a time where we have never known what suffering is, what oppression is, what suppression is in this nation, okay? What anarchism is in this nation, okay? What living under a monarchy is in this country. We went through hundreds of years knowing that, more than anyone else. This is why it don't bother the average soul brother and sister in this nation. So we used to it, okay? But what we need to do still, while we still got any hell's chance in time right now, is to mobilize and get on this soul train with the ideal of the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign, so that we could finally once and for all do something about our plight as a people in this country. You see? Because we'll see one thing about everybody else, they're willing to fight and die or go through whatever means they have to go through to be free, which is unlikely in our case. But we need to develop that mentality, just like Abraham Lincoln told these Black leaders during his speech, his delegation speech to them, you know? And so we have to understand that for what it is. And these different leaders of today ain't no different than those leaders of that time. These leaders of the day who claim to have this high supreme wisdom, knowledge, you know, to be highly educated or more advanced than these leaders even of that time, have shown that they're not any much different from them. Just look at their track record. And that would speak for itself. What have they done since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to inspire legislation on our behalf, to get us further ahead toward freedom as an equal people in this nation? What have they done but stand up behind a podium or rostrum every Sunday like Eric Muhammad, or every night like the Son of Man, and spew out religious scriptures from the Quran and Bible? You know? And these other lullaby bull crap teachings, like with the Hebrew Israelites, Afrocentrism, you know, and that other foolishness like I was following behind under Dr. Malachi Z. York years ago, you know? I mean, what have they done? If anything, they've led our people further into the burning fire, like Martin Luther King said, you know? That's what they've done. At least he woke up and realized it. But they still among the living and have done nothing to rectify that action, you know? And we still look at these people as leaders today, you know? And that's crazy. We've even stooped to lower levels, even, and no disrespect to the late Tupac Amir Shakur, you know, may the dead rest in peace. But the truth of the matter is, people even looked at him or look at him as some type of national leader. They even got history about him in school curriculums across this country, teaching our Black children about Tupac Shakur, when they should be teaching them about freedom fighters like Nat Turner, David Walker, Denmark Vesey, and the list goes on. But they teaching them about people like Tupac Shakur. Come on, really? So this is why you got the kind of younger generation floating around like we do today, you know? And if we could take control of a state, we could more easily work to turn that around. But you're not ready to work, because freedom is work. Freedom means fighting. Freedom means possibly either losing your life for freedom. You see what I'm saying? All that comes with the word of freedom, liberation. But you're not ready for that. The Nation of Islam, which I would sort of reference, and the Universal Negro Improvement of Association / UNIA under Marcus Mosiah Gari, was the closest thing to when you seen Black people willing to get out there and do work. But even then, that turned out just to be about fame, glory, you know, grandiose standing, you know, how much money you got, how much wealth you got. Money, wealth, prestige, all that. That's why when Malcolm X woke up and separated himself from that, that's why he had to die. Because now, as far as they was concerned, speaking of the Nation of Islam, this nigga had to go. No disrespect intended upon Malcolm X, nor his family, but that's the way they saw it. Because he was about really trying to liberate our people. More so than they was. He was really trying to liberate our people. And if it wasn't for him, and I know it's been said on this platform numbers of times, but if it wasn't for him, the Nation of Islam wouldn't even be what it is today. And they know it. Those in the nation know it, and the rest of the world know it. You know, so we definitely need to understand that we're faced with a do or die situation. You know, it's it's about do or die. That's what we had as soul people in 2024 going into 2025. And with that said, I do not want to get tongue-tied because I didn't know if the brother wanted to speak or anything. But I will, out of respect for him, since he's hosting this live stream, I would yield my mic to him and see where we go from here. But thanks for letting me and hearing me speak on this important topic, because many people again need to understand that in the past up to now, we had opportunities to actually free ourselves. And ain't nobody holding us back, like many of you blacks in the pro-black conscious community or in general say. Ain't nobody holding us back but us. And with that said, once again, I yield my mic.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Let me get this, do something here. All right, where's the other thing at? Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I want to just thank you for coming here and giving us a little something, I guess, before the end of the year. We're getting ready to go into 2025. So I don't know what's going to happen in 2025. None of us know what's going to happen. But we're going to give our last commentary before that New Year's ball falls down. I want to thank everyone who took the time to listen to our Soul Liberation Day message. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of folks out there. They may not consistently listen to what we have to say all year round, but for some reason they will give me an opportunity Soul Liberation Day. I noticed that the views, wherever I put Soul Liberation Day, I noticed the views are pretty decent. So I want to thank everyone for sharing that message, and for those who have took the time to share the message with others in their life. I appreciate it. It's always an honor that you would give us this opportunity. I say that all the time, that I thank you for sharing, listening to our message. I want to say this in relation to the topic brother has chose for this evening. As I have heard a few times where speakers have talked about what Abraham Lincoln had to offer the brothers and sisters, our ancestors, and they make mockery and call the clergy, they call the ones who at that time was our leadership, they called them out of their names, coon, Sambo, and all this other negative stuff. And because they rejected what not Dr. King, what Abraham Lincoln was saying. I want to make this point. If you're so upset with what those men, and probably not women, because as you know, we women don't really, we really don't allow women to have any kind of voice. We push anything women have to say or think, we just push that to the side, don't mean anything. So chances are Abraham Lincoln was speaking to Black American men, and they rejected the offer or the proposal that Abraham Lincoln was talking about. And there are those, again, who want to call those people names. So if you're so dead set and they were wrong holding that position, if I was there, I would have said this to Abraham Lincoln and blah, blah, blah. Why are you still here in America? You're here right with them. And there's nothing stopping you from going to Africa, Panama, Liberia, China, Thailand, Vietnam, wherever the hell you want to go. Get your ass on a plane or a boat and buy. You still right here. So how the hell you got the nerve to talk about that was a bad idea? Well, here you are, you're free. With plenty of education. A lot of y'all make a lot of money. I was just reading an article. You can go to Panama. Brother Taalib was talking about Panama, so I looked up Panama. You can go $1,000 a month and live pretty decent in Panama. You can go to Thailand. You can go to Vietnam. You can go to Mexico. Get your ass out of here. Since these men that you talk about, their decision making was so terrible, here you are in a better position than they are. Get the hell out. There's nothing stopping you. But you're going to stay here and complain till I go to Africa. How many of these people we done heard for years and years and years about going to Africa? They still here with us. Because I've never said that. I've never said I want to go to Africa or any other country. I've never said that. And if I made a suggestion back in the day, prior to our Vision of Mississippi campaign, I talked about, and I don't know if you was around at that time to live, but I suggested Liberia.
Yeah, I do. That's when I met you, when you was
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Liberia. Your ass ain't went to Liberia either. And they did not embrace that idea either. They don't embrace anything. They just like to run their damn mouth. They're not going to do nothing. See, that's the bottom line. Just like you said, Taalib, they're not going to do nothing. Because to do something means you're going to have to sacrifice. Now, as individuals, I can go to Panama. As an individual, I can go live in China. As an individual, I can do a lot of things as an individual. But when you suggesting and telling an entire 40, 50 million people, oh, this is what they should do, that's a whole different ball game. Why you think America didn't do it? That's too much damn work. It's easier now. We have jet planes and these large boats. They didn't have that during the time of Abraham Lincoln. How are we going to move all these thousands and millions of folks? Very expensive. Plus, they gonna run. Ain't nobody gonna stand. Majority of them not gonna stand still. They're gonna hide. Just like we don't know how many immigrants really is in this country. We don't know because a lot of people If they're illegal, they're not going to tell you, and they're going to hide. Just like the Underground Railroad. We have an Underground Railroad with the new immigrants right now. And since you don't want to do the work, you don't want to pick grapes, you don't want to pick apples, you don't want to pick bananas, you don't want to kill the cows for your taco, and these types of jobs, you don't want to sweep, you don't want to mop. You too fancy for that. Well, these people come and take them out of the country. Somebody said on the news. I don't think Donald Trump want to do all that what he's talking about. Because you start taking these people out of here, you're going to find out how important they are, because they're doing the job. They're doing the jobs that you don't want to do or too damn lazy to do. And you'll find out how important they are. Because you better than that. So they washing dishes, picking cotton, doing whatever. And you'd rather be sitting on your ass with an EBT card. You don't hear about them. Well, yes, they do. They can get EBT too. And they also out there picking tomatoes. But see, the thing about the Mississippi campaign, all the work that you're doing for yourself. I understand that we had a certain attitude when our work was for somebody else. You're going to work for what is in the best interest of yours. Your children that you claim that you love, for a better place and position in life than you do. But you, like Brother Taalib said in his talk, he don't give a damn about no generations, because a lot of y'all, a lot of these folks, they old, getting ready to die anyway. You're on your own. Just like the American forefathers. They knew that the black slave was going to be a problem one day. They said, well, we'll let the young whites, our next generation, they'll handle that. Right now, we're going to enjoy slavery. We're going to enjoy all the wealth that all this free labor is giving us. We'll let them deal with it. And that's how many of us do. We spit these babies out. If they survive, they survive. They don't, they don't. And you know there's a possibility some going to go to prison. There's a possibility some going to get caught up in prostitution and drugs and law. You don't give a damn. As long as you have enjoyed yours. You don't care what happens to the next generation. I'm drinking my clean water now. Oh, but if you don't take care of the water, it'll be dirty for them. I don't care. It's just like sometimes when you go to these buffet places. And I don't like messing around with these buffet places because you got these folks that's disrespectful. They want to play around the food. They don't care about who come behind them. They don't watch their damn ragged ass children. As long as you take care of me. But again, like I said, you can go. There's nothing stopping these people to go to Africa. That whole group of folks that came on this platform talk about Africa. Where they at? Tell them where they at.
They are here in the great old United States of America.
They ain't went nowhere. Matter of fact, they invested in America. Creating a business in America, not in Africa, not in Mexico, not in China, in America. I'm not going to tell you about moving to Africa and I don't invest in Africa, create a business in Africa, and I don't move my ass to Africa. That's just entertainment. Feel good stuff, nothing but a form of religion. That's all it is. They don't go. But see, this is what you have to understand. Now, see, I'm guilty. I used to think that way too at one time. But see, I would in my state of mind, like many of you are. I was a regurgitator. Listening to Farrakhan, listening to Elijah Muhammad. I was a listener, and I just repeated basically what they said. wasn't my own thoughts. I just repeat, like a lot of these folks. That's why they always say Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, because they copying and regurgitating what they heard from them. They don't self-discover nothing, because when you begin to think for yourself and begin to discover on your own, it might come in conflict with what they talked about, because they lived in a different time. We are in similar circumstance, but it's a different time. There's a reason why Marcus Garvey failed. There's a reason why Elijah Muhammad failed. There's a reason why the civil rights movement failed. And instead of concentrating on why did they fail, we just copy what they do. And if you copy what they do, you're going to fail, because that's what happened. These people cannot even replicate what Dr. King, what Marcus Garvey, what Elijah, they can't replicate it. No, brother, you wrong. I got him again. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Minister Farrakhan is nothing compared to what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm built. He's nowhere close. He's just an entertainer. He brings in thousands of people, but see, Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad didn't have social media. Farrakhan has social media, Facebook, all this kind of good stuff. There's a lot of things Farrakhan has that, and also Elijah Muhammad didn't deal with a lot of churches. Mr. Farrakhan make friends with the people in the church and celebrities and all. Elijah Muhammad didn't do all that. Because as far as Elijah Muhammad was concerned, I'm the shizit. You come to me. I'm not going to Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm not going to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson gonna come to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because I'm the messenger of God. The hell with all that. I'm the shizit. I'm the head Negro in charge. Farrakhan put on a big show, but he did not and has not replicated what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm done. The new Black Panther Party, as new as it is, nothing. They created nothing like what Huey P. Newton and Eldridge Cleaver, I believe, good tongue tie, and Bobby Seale. You can put all these people, Bobby Seale. You can put all these new black organizations together. They don't come nowhere close to what the original party done. Nowhere close. You can put all these factions of Nation of Islam together. They don't come nowhere close to what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm did. And these Pan-Africans, definitely not nothing compared to the old Marcus Garvey UNIA. They nothing, period. Matter of fact, they confused as hell. They even making up new versions of UNIA, Pan-African nationalism, all kinds of different names. But let me tell you this. How long have we been here in America? Been here a long time. What must be understood, this is all we know. So Abraham Lincoln is coming to people and telling these people, well, you can go to a better place. You won't be abused. You'll get treated better. Yeah, that's nice. This all I know is America. I've been here 200, 300 years, not 300 days. My mama died here. My grandpappy died here. Our blood, sweat, and tears has died here. We built this nation. It's mine just as much as it is yours. That's their attitude. I'm not going to just give this up. You can't take the cemetery with you. So I'm going to go to Africa, but my mama and my grandparents, everybody is in the graveyard here. Some brothers and sisters have land that's been in their family for over 100 years. I'm supposed to just leave here. And see, this is not, you might think that it's a sickness, it might be a sickness, but you got to understand also, there are people who are in abusive relationships. They don't leave. Why they don't leave? Because I'm abused. I get 3 meals a day. The bills are paid. I get hit in the mouth now and then, but this all I got. This is what I'm used to. For years. So you're going to tell these people to go to a foreign land and start all over again. Next thing you know, you've been in a civil war, because that's what happened in Liberia, ain't it? Because those black folks got over to Liberia, think they better than the Africans that was already there. And wherever the black American go, you stick your nose up and you think you better. I hear black people, black Americans talk about Africa, think they smarter than the people that was born there. Well, brother, you sort of wrong. How would that mean you tell her wrong? I was born in Senegal. I was born in the Sudan. I was born in the Congo. How the hell a black American nigga gonna tell me about Africa? I was born in Egypt. And here comes some Negro, well, my brother, you know, Africa, and you want to talk about the civilization. I was born there. But this is how arrogant we are. And we're a reflection of these people because they're arrogant too. And we are a reflection and a copy of them. Yeah, you can go to Africa and you're going to have problems because you're arrogant. You think you know it all. You're going to teach them. They're not going to tolerate you talk about, hey, I'm teaching you, you smarter than them. They're not going to do that. And another thing they don't like talking about, when black Americans go to Africa, they don't want to talk about some of us who have been killed by Africans over there because of that. And they exploit you. A piece of fish costs $2. They'll sell it to you for $8 because you are an American. They have a name for us over there. Call us white people because they know what you are. You're not no African. How you gonna be an African, a so-called African, and you wasn't born there? You don't know nothing about it. You don't have no. When we go to Africa, we go there as tourists, and there's nothing gonna change that. You're gonna say that you're a tourist or I'm a businessman. That's all you're gonna be. You're not a citizen. And we played on this platform not too long ago where a sister talked about how much money, I think she was in Ghana, all the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that they charge for you to be a citizen over there. And they just keep ripping you off. Because see, they understand, see this, the thing about this African DNA stuff and this African, see, it's like a person that want to know their father. So you got all these suckers. Well, you know, I grew up with your daddy. Then they're going to tell you for free. They're going to charge you something so that you can know about your daddy. And they never met your dad. They're just going to tell you that. Because all of us, I'm not going to say all of us because some of us don't give a damn. But there are some of us, we want to know our origins. We want to know our father, our biological father, our biological mother, our ancestors. If we did come from Africa, I want to know where. See, you have people that exploit this. They exploit you. But again, you still here in America. That was a bad idea for us to reject what Abraham Lincoln, but this is all that we know. And you still here. Go, leave, buy. Nothing stopping nobody. Go to Mexico and pick some tomatoes to survive. Whatever you got to do. Since we should not have rejected, those leaders should not have rejected what President Lincoln said or offered, then you can go to another country and pick you some tomatoes, wash some dishes in the country or whatever. But again, you $1,000 a month, you can go to these countries and live pretty decent. I even see videos. Brothers and sisters move to Thailand and Vietnam and places like that. They put on a show. Because how the hell can you live in the United States all your life and all of a sudden it's so wonderful? You have people like Michael Jackson. You have people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Oprah Winfrey. They've been all over the world. Where do they live? Tina Turner ended up there because she fell in love with a white man overseas. That's the only reason why Tina Turner ended up over there. All your stars, Stevie Wonder talk all that African stuff. For I know Stevie Wonder is still here because this is our home. It's nice to go to these places and visit. This is our home. This is where our mama died. This is where my daddy died. Grandfather. I just went to the graveyard where most of my relatives are at and clean up the headstones and things of this nature. What we supposed to do? Dig up their caskets and take them to Africa some damn where? This is our home. And this is why the Mississippi campaign is more realistic, because it keeps you home, but it can also make you independent. It also makes you a force to be reckoned with. But it wasn't time. It wasn't time during the time of Marcus Garvey. It wasn't time during the time of Malcolm. They did what they did so that we could be where we're at now if we understood where things went wrong. You have to have a different attitude, a different mindset. You have to look at things differently. You want to stay where they at in 1930. And you're doing worse. You really are in a worse position than they were. I want to say this also. When I first heard Thriller, and many of you know that I'm a Michael Jackson fan. Many of you know I'm a Michael Jackson fan. But when I first heard Thriller, the biggest selling album of all time, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's still the biggest selling album, 140 million records sold. Michael Jackson is gone. Michael Jackson made more money than Beyonce and Taylor Swift. He made $600 million this year, and Michael is not even here. Almost $1 billion. But when I first heard Thriller, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I didn't like it. I got it. Matter of fact, I didn't even buy it. I listened to it from a friend. And when I listened to it for the first time, I was like, I'm glad I didn't buy this crap. I call Thriller crap. I listened to Billie Jean. I'm like, Listen to Beat It. I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this? I wasn't used to Michael. I wasn't used to the Jackson. What is this? This is not soul. What is this stuff that Michael doing? I didn't understand. I did not like Thriller. I did not like EnVogue. They on my wall. When I first heard EnVogue, I did not like them. I did not like EnVogue. I liked the short black dresses they was wearing. I did not like Hold On. Hold on to my love. And I still really don't like Hold On. I did not like EnVogue. I did not like Thriller. There was a time I did not like potatoes. The only potatoes I did eat was McDonald's French fries. I did not like potatoes. I did not like Thriller. Sam I am. I did not like EnVogue. Sam I am. I did not like potato Sam. Why am I telling you this? See, a lot of us are childish. And you give somebody something new. You know, you tell your child to eat the vegetables or whatever. I don't eat that. I don't like. You don't even know it. I don't like broccoli. I don't like green beans. I don't like. That's the way we act. You haven't even tasted it yet. I don't like. We love to say that. I don't like Angel 707, that Reality's Temple. Just the Mississippi campaign. What is the Mississippi campaign? Don't listen. Don't know what it's about. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know what the Reality's Temple is about. I don't like that. I don't like Thriller. But see, that's the difference between you and me. I kept listening to Thriller. See, I'm not you. I did not like Thriller. But I like Michael Jackson. I said, well, I mean, I never liked all Michael Jackson's records anyway. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and listen to this crap. I kept calling it crap, but I kept listening. I still don't like Hold On. I kept listening to these ladies. And I did not like Terry Ellis. When they first came out, I liked Cindy first. I didn't like Terry Ellis. We always talk about what I don't like. But we don't know. How do you really know? You didn't try, you don't know. I don't like Thriller. But I kept listening to Thriller. I kept listening to Billie Jean. And Beat It. And then when Michael came out with the video for Billie Jean, and then when he came out with the video for Beat It. Now I know a lot of you like Thriller. I still don't really care too much for Thriller. I mean, Thriller is cool, turn into a werewolf, whatever. But see, the point I'm making that's quite obvious is we don't give things a chance. We don't like. I hate that. How you hate? You don't even know if you never tried it. How do you know you're not going to like it if you don't try it? If you don't. Now, see, what I would like is for somebody to honestly say, well, brother, I studied this thing for like 30, 40 days straight. I've listened to your videos constantly, blah, blah. Then you explain to me why you don't like. They just don't like. They don't explain nothing. The fact that it's not Pan-African, the fact that it's not Jesus, the fact that it's not Hebrew Israelite, that's all it takes. I don't like. Mr. Farrakhan didn't say that, so I don't like. This is why you stuck in the position that you're in, because you don't like. Well, apparently you like being oppressed. Apparently, since you didn't move to Africa, you like getting your ass whooped. Because you're still here with us. You're still here with the people that you say should have accepted Abraham Lincoln's proposal. But see, we got to give things an opportunity. How do you know you don't like something till you try it? Now, there was a guy who listened to Soul Liberation Day 2024, what we did last year. He actually listened to it because he told me what was in it. So I know he listened to it, and he said, you make good points, but he's pro Nation of Islam. And for a few minutes there, he was giving me my props, but he got to go back because I'm loyal to the Nation of Islam. So even though what you're talking about might work, I still got to stay with the Nation of Islam. That's the most dumbest, stupid strategy and logic I've ever heard in my life. That's dumb. But that's how we are. That's how we are. We're loyal, but it's not working. I'm loyal to Jesus, but it's not working. I'm loyal to the Nation of Islam. I'm loyal to Marcus Garvey. I'm Pan-Africanism. You loyal to all these things that are not working for it. What is wrong with embracing something that could work? The main reason why is because it makes what some of us have been believing this stuff for years and years and years. And we don't want to embrace something new because it makes what we believed in for years and years, make it look bad. So what? I was introduced to the Nation of Islam. I was introduced to the Nation of Islam when I was a child, 7, 8 years old. I love Elijah Muhammad. But then when I began to realize and began to mature and come into myself, I began to see the flaws. And I had to start letting it go. Because those laws, those flaws are so bad, this is the reason why it can't work. But we don't want to accept that. We are in denial. So you still stuck right here. Try to put some more of these comments on the board here. Where did I leave off at? Okay, right here. We're gonna put all these comments on there. How do you know you don't like something until you try it? How do you know something won't work unless you try it? Somebody tell you that's the wrong screwdriver. Oh, I've been using this screwdriver for 100 years. This is the right screwdriver. And it take you 100 years to unscrew the screw. But if you use the right screw, it comes right out. But we don't want to do that. Because I don't like. One of our problems is how emotional we get over stuff. Because when you don't like something, you get emotional over it. And when we get emotional, it causes us not to think properly. You get all emotional. A lot of people are dead right now because of emotion. Because had somebody took the time to think, I don't think I want to do that. I'm not going to do that. There's an old saying, look before you leap. But when you get emotional, you just leap. You don't look. You don't care. I paid a heavy price. I paid 10 years for thinking like that. $10 years of my life being emotional. I wouldn't allow I didn't like what so-and-so did to me. Well, I had 10 years to think about it. And there are brothers and sisters in jail and prison right now. They have all their life because they're never getting out of prison. They're never getting out of jail. And that was the plan for me. They told me every day, you're going to die here. You're going to die. Why are you here? Because of emotion. A lot of us, we've had good friends for years, but something happened and we get emotional. I don't need that so-and-so. Y'all been friends for 50 years. I don't care so-and-so. Emotion. You're not thinking about all the good years in those 50. The only thing you tripping off of is the few minutes that something went wrong. That's how we are. With friends and family members. We only think about what went wrong. What about all the years that we did good? We're family, we're friends. You tripping off the 10 minutes that we don't agree something went bad. Because we are all in our emotions. So I appreciate everyone who would at least listen to Soul Liberation Day 2025 message. I appreciate that. At least listen. So when I listened to Thriller, I began to like it. I stopped calling it crap. And then when I went outside of music and heard these ladies talk, I heard Cindy talk, I heard Dawn talk, I heard Maxine talk, but when I heard Terry talk, I like how Terry talk. Her talk, how she carried herself, I felt more connected to Terry than the rest of them. But I did not like Terry first. How do you know if you like somebody? How do you know if you like something until you give it a chance, opportunity to try, listen, see something? You don't know. There are men right now and women who are married to people they did not like at first. But when they got to know them, then they start liking them. I don't care how fat they was, they got one eye, only one arm, whatever. I like you. Because you begin to look outside of the money, you start looking outside of the physical appearance, you begin to look at them as the human being that they are. And I like you. And they end up marrying that person. You remember, I'm going to say this, I'm going to turn it over back to Taalib. Maybe he got some, he need to take us out of here. There was an episode of Good Time. There was an episode of Good Times where Thelma's husband was talking about his friends, some lady, they called her ugly, you know, she wasn't a fine fox or whatever. And he was telling his friend, do you remember so-and-so, we talked about that ugly woman, blah, blah, blah. And then Thelma's husband said, I wonder whatever happened to her. And then his friend said, I married her. Whoa. You know, see, you never know. You don't know. When you get around people and you say, I don't like that. I know my mama did it. Oh, he got a bald head and he don't know how to dress. My mama was making fun of this guy. Next thing I know, he was coming around the house every day. Next thing I know, he was living with us. And see, that's another thing. Sometimes people say things they really don't mean it. You remember when you was little and you liked a girl and you will push her and say bad things because you like the girl. It ain't you didn't hate the girl. You didn't know how to express to the girl that you liked her. I know that was done to me one time. This girl kept pitching on me and messing. I'm like, what the hell wrong with you? And I found out the girl liked me. This is how we do, but now we are adults. We have to do like what the Bible said. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I'm an adult now. And we still behaving and acting like we children. We got to grow up, just like the brother said in the speech. I'm going to turn the mic over to Brother Taalib so he can bring conclusion and take us out of here.
Okay.
Uh-oh, dropped off. All right, Taalib, technical difficulties. Taalib dropped off. Kathy says, I'm a middle-aged woman who was raised in the 70s, but my dad walked around a lot of black people, so I grew up with soul. See, Kathy, when I talk about soul brothers and sisters, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We grew up in that. That was part of black culture. And Kathy will bear witness, because I know I grew up in it. So the only thing I'm doing here is bringing it back and making it our culture, making it who we are, which will encompass, if you a Christian, you still a soul brother. Like it was, Kathy tell them. You was a soul brother. See, soul brother and sister was our identity as a group, as a people, as a family. But you could be a soul brother and you was a Muslim. You a soul brother, you soul sister, and you was a Christian. You a soul brother, soul sister, and you probably sold drugs down the street. It's our identity. It's who we are. And nobody else can claim it. We make it our identity. Nobody can tell us what a soul man is or a soul brother. There was a song, I'm a soul man. James Brown was the godfather of soul.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin was the
hold up for a
soul
second.
sister. She was a soul. So that's all we're doing here. Because I don't want to be them. If you accept Africans, or if you accept Native Americans, or Kemet, whatever these stuff is, being an Israelite, if you embrace those things, you also have to embrace the bad side, which they don't like to talk about. They only want to talk about this feel-good narrative. But these people been around, so they got skeletons, they got dirt in their closet. Black Americans, soul brothers and sisters, we have no blood on our hands except what we got with the white folks in this country, sent us to war, fighting their war. We did not start the trouble. We have no blood on our hands. So we are in a good position because nobody on earth can say we done a damn thing to them. Except, as I said, being an American citizen, and we participated in these wars for another man. But now I'm on my own. Now, why do we keep fighting these wars? Why are we still part of their military and they're not giving us nothing? Our soldiers came from these wars and these suckers lynched them, denied them proper housing. You bleed and you die for these suckers. No, 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 no. If you want me to die, if you want my sons and daughters to bleed for your happy ass, then what you gonna give me? Some boozy, what's his name? Some boozy says Stockholm syndrome and emotions. Why are you afraid to come home? I'm not coming home. I never lived in Africa. Bring your ass here and talk to us. Africa is not my home. It might be your home. It's not my home. I never lived in no Africa. How the hell I'm gonna call Africa home and I ain't never lived there? My grandparents never lived there, and the grandparents before, ain't nobody that I know of in my family lived there. When Black Americans go to Africa, you are a tourist or you are there on business, or you're going to pay to be a citizen. And once you get a home there, you can call that your home. That's not my home. They want you caught up in their fairy tale. They only want you to know the good side or this beautiful side. There's always two sides of a coin. They don't never talk about it. Like I said, Sister Bernice King, she keeps up with what's going on in Africa more than Umar Johnson do. And she's a Christian. And she show you the other side. Umar Johnson, the Pan-African, he's only going to try to show you the European side of Africa, because that's the only place they go to. They go to the places in Africa that's European. They don't really mess around with the other places and that's suffering, and the places that don't have, that's not really getting that European money. So they're bogus. They're bogus. So Taalib look like he's back. We're gonna bring it, pass the mic over here to Taalib so he can give conclusion, take us out of here.
All right, yeah, because I'm getting ready to eat this dinner, but yeah,
okay.
I just want to say that you know, like from what I said earlier, you know, we just got to keep trying. You know, listen, when I came on here with this topic, I wanted to, you know, it wasn't my intention to actually, to those of you in the audience, to actually think that I was trying to talk down like most of us do on some of these older Black leaders from these different past generations. Because like I said, the leadership we got today is no different from them. And what are they doing? They ain't doing nothing at all, let alone anything. Yeah. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. And also too, I want to actually say that you know, I know I'm kind of going a little bit off a topic, but
It's
you
your
know,
show. Do what you gotta do.
yes, sir. But you know, I want to also say too that you know, our situation, since we speaking about soul people, soul Black people in this nation, you know, I want to just share with y'all that the situation with us in terms of our you know, family relations amongst each other has gone south, you know, especially since the unfortunate circumstances of the war on drug, you know, heroin and crack cocaine epidemic eras that really wiped out any existence of what soul Black families were doing before that time and even during that time. And you know, whatever connections we had left, even coming up out of chattel slavery, that's all gone out the window due to that unfortunate circumstance, which on our part, we sat back and let it happen. But at the same time, you know, I want to just touch up on the fact that what I've been looking at right now as far as so-called family ties, there are millions of us, and I know I'm not by myself. That's why I say it's millions of us who are estranged or separated from relatives or from relative bloodlines because of drama, because of underestimation, because of abuse, and so forth. The list goes on. And you know, today I'm still dealing with it heavy, you know, especially since my mother passed away, you know what I'm saying, some years ago. And even before she passed away, the writing was on the wall, but the true colors really blossomed like never before after she passed. And that's when I began to realize that, you know, I don't really need to worry about people that's a part of my relative bloodline, no matter which side they come from, because the disconnect with so-called family today is very terrible. I mean, it's almost like you know, coexisting with people on the street that you don't even know. You know them, but you don't know them. You know, I got a brother I just met this year. Didn't know him for 40-some years. We don't even go as far as how you doing? Everything is okay? That type of situation, because we really don't know each other. But here it is, there are relatives, like many of us have, that we've been knowing for years, or thought we knew for years. And now is either when we even have a conversation, it's frivolous, or it's about getting emotional, or it's about telling somebody how they should live their life, or
right,
it's some other crazy stuff going on, you know, or some betrayal stuff. Let me add that, as I just did. And I mean, you know, it's just crazy. So I'm learning, like someone would say, how to do by myself. It ain't easy, but it is what it is, because it helps me concede more to the best of my ability to make peace with my own self as far as how the situation goes. you know, because at the same time, I would rather be more at peace with myself than dealing with a headache of what you call family. And I'm gonna say this overall in America, it's no really such thing as family no more. You look at the divorce rate and the times of the marriages compared to yesteryears and generations that we came from, the sense of family in this nation is nothing compared to that. You know, people getting married, what, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, divorce. And see, a lot of the marriages, of course, took place under false pretenses. Just like people getting into bed having kids with each other. Mostly it's under false pretenses. This is why you have a lot of killings, domestic violence going on, because people ain't willing to be responsible and pay child support and take care of the family and this and that, you see? So on social media, you hear about these murders, these suicide murders, all this crazy stuff. Folks killing each other over life insurance policies, all this stuff. It's no such thing as family in this country. And if you talk about the other so-called third world countries or poor countries, you don't even hear that. They do what they take what they got and do whatever they do to make good use of it and to try to live together as families. That's why you don't hear about Filipinos, the Vietnamese, Chinese people, Koreans putting their elderly and senior citizen homes. You don't hear about other different ethnicities in other countries putting their older relatives in senior citizen homes. But you hear much about that here in America, you know, because as y'all call it, the family is not together. You know, a lot of people, even from this point in time, you will find is laid up somewhere in what they call them places where when you got a toe tag on you, when you got a tag on your toe as a dead corpse. Yeah, coroner. Yeah, there's a lot of people morgue. Yeah, it's a lot of people laying up in the morgue. Yeah, coroner morgue. Yeah, there's a lot of people laying up in them coroner morgues across the country, unclaimed, and it's hundreds of thousands a year in this country. I looked it up over recently ago. Over 100-some thousand bodies is laying up in morgues each year. So you add that, and we gonna start talking about going into the millions. You see what I'm saying? Of people that ain't even claimed by relatives because they either are estranged from them or because the relatives can't afford to, you know, pay to have them properly buried, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying, all that, you know. But this is what we got. So it's unfortunate that, especially us as soul people, have that situation going, you know, and this is why many of us end up moving on, whether we move on to other states or even to other countries, as of that matter, as individuals. You know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of us end up even saying, you know what? And I'm not going to get into whether it's right or wrong, but hey, that's why some say I'd rather marry a white woman or Mexican. The hell with these black ass niggas. I'm just putting it out there like that because that's how a lot of us think in some cases, you know. And you know, and start their own families from that point on with mixed children, mixed grandchildren, you know. You know, this, I mean, you want to talk about what slavery did to us in terms of the breakup of the family. It's still going on. You can still see the hate in that, deeply in that. And we're not trying to do nothing to rectify that. You got these many organizations and so-called spiritual leaders and spiritual organizations talking about how can we bring the family back together. But you go on by the way that the slave master taught you, which ain't worked, obviously. You know what I'm saying? How many estranged white families have you seen where Christianity actually brought back together? What any other religions have brought back together after they have been estranged for so long and destroyed from whatever dysfunctional circumstances they came from. So we try the same thing and it don't work. And you got to remember, we were taught to hate ourselves, even though that's the difference between us and them. We were taught to hate ourselves, you see. So that even make it more worse for us, because we was taught how to hate ourselves. And you could see that. You know, this is why so many of our youth and young adolescents who are born into these type of families, or rather relative bloodlines, let me say that, is because, you know, because of the fact that we have no direction to give these young people. So when they're born into these type of circumstances, and you expect for them not to decide to get out there and be a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a prostitute, what do you expect? Most of them do that because that's the only way they know how to identify with having a said family. Haven't you heard stories about people joining gangs that said that they didn't feel like they had a family, so that's why they joined street gangs? This is a reality, you know. And I tell you, man. And I don't advocate these negative excuses, nor do I advocate the people that entertain these negative excuses or why they do what they do. But however, it's a part of the reality. And we got to really take a serious look at the subject as far as family. Because family, or which I would rather say, because in order for someone to be your family, it ain't always got to be a blood relative. So I'm going to just say blood relative. Like someone say, having a blood relative ain't always it. And a lot of times it's not it. That's not the all beginning or the all ending. Because a lot of us are born to a lot of different families by default, because we don't get to choose what families we're born to. You know? And that's what I wanted to really kind of bring up. You know, we need to understand and take a serious look at the root of the problem and why many people from relative bloodlines can't get along. You know, especially because of stuff that happened even before they were born that was out of their control. Your grandmama or your granddaddy don't like your mama or daddy, so they take it out on you. Something you totally ain't got nothing to do with. And then it spiraled throughout the rest of the relative bloodline, not liking you because of the way your grandparent feels about one of your parents coming from the other side. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, and this has been going on for a long time. And this is the reason why you see a lot of domestic violence going on in the homes among biological relatives. You know, this is why you see unquote family fights taking place at a barbecue or something. You see what I'm saying? This is why you may even see people losing their lives because of these type of circumstances, you know? And you all in the middle of this, and you ain't got nothing to do with this. You just happen to be born in this mess, you know? And like I said, it's many of us who were born in this mess, you know? And I want to also point out too, because I've talked about this before some time ago. I forget on this platform that you got those, especially those who are self-righteous wannabes, that get on these platforms and talk about, or that may even on the streets outside of social media talk about how, well, they families was never disconnected. Let me say this. You might say that about one of your immediate families in some cases, but throughout the rest of that biological relative bloodline, you don't really know certain people that might feel different about the immediate relatives that you come from. You see? So, I mean, it goes much deeper than to what you think when you even dealing with direct immediate relatives. It goes even deeper into what I'm talking about right now. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you got people out there in the streets killing each other over tripping over gang sets, killing each other actually over rival gang sets, over rival gang colors that was related to each other and didn't even know it. And in some cases might have been related to each other. You actually got cousins who kill each other and know each other. Okay? Yeah, all that. This, like I said, this goes much deeper than what I'm even talking about as far as that topic go, you know? And a lot of people don't understand that in this society, like I said, if you really want to understand the dysfunction among blood relative family lines, you got to look at the root of the problem behind it. And then, and even before you talk about how you gonna resolve this thing as a whole and not just individually, you know, but as a whole, you know, as far as each family is concerned, you got to talk about some certain circumstances that people were born in that has a psychological, emotional effect on them. Some people born in this world were born here through rape. I ain't talking about doing even chattel slavery. I'm talking about in these modern times where parents didn't even want to claim the child because it was born as a result of a sexual assault crime. You see what I'm saying? So and then you got these children in these adoption and foster homes who come into this world through them type of circumstances or other circumstances that don't never even get a chance to know who their relatives is because their mother or fathers gave them up for adoption. Well, if you didn't want to have them, you shouldn't have even laid in bed to have them. You see what I'm saying? But most people, you know, it's about getting that one quick sensation or feeling, and that's it. And then pulling their pants up and going on about their business, you see? And so this is what we get as a result of that type of behavior too, you know? You got fathers who are actually fathers of these children, not even wanting to claim them. Some of them won't even sign their names on their birth certificates. So why do you think, especially these days, why younger people, especially born in recent times into this world, feel the way they feel about life and other people in general? You see what I'm saying? See, we want to, if we want to get to talking about these people and why they do the crazy things they do and why they terrorize our communities and our streets, you got to look at where it started from and then gain that understanding and then go down the line and then come up with a remedy solution on how to deal with this before you just say, oh, we got to bring families together. No, it's not that easy and simple. You know, we got to bring relatives together rather to say, or you know, and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. And I know it's a lot of you because I deal with relatives like that on my own. It's an well, God to do the job. You just got to trust in God and Jesus or Allah, whatever. He'll do the job to put things back together. Wait a minute, hold up. Nah, it just things just ain't that simple. And see, that's where we drop the ball at. That's where we lose touch with reality when it comes to stuff like this. Things is not that simple, you know, and so this is the reason why I say that at the end of the day, we're living in some real serious dark times. And I just want to leave y'all with that. And you know, as I close out, and you know, and before I also turn the mic back over to our brother, I would like to say that you know, we have to understand that this is just the same thing like with Operation Exodus Mississippi, as far as doing the work that we need to do in order to obtain our true liberation for once and for all. Well, it's the same way with trying to bridge so-called families back together. You see what I'm saying? You got to do the work. Because some relatives ain't gonna be forgiving. Some relatives ain't gonna want to realign with other relatives, especially depending on what the situation is and how much emotion is involved. See, we got to look at all that before we just talk about, you know, because we're talking about damage, psychologically, mentally, physically, all this kind of stuff. You know, people ostracized among other blood relatives because they got autism, I don't like to use the R word because that's just like using the N word toward black people when it comes to somebody having autism or a disability. But a lot of people ain't even accepted by their relatives because they got some type of disability or autism. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't accepted by their relatives because they too light skinned or too darker skinned. You know? See, and the Willie Lynch plan is definitely in effect, even hundreds of years later, like he said it would be. Well, we made the truth out of them. So there we go. You know, we got you know, we less well off than certain people, so we don't have nothing to do with them, even though they are relatives. But we don't want nothing to do with they poor broke ass. Or something like that, or they bomb ass, or they you know, I'm just saying. And I don't do a whole lot of cussing, but I'm just putting it out there to those, you know, who even understand it in that language, as far as what I'm saying. You know, because we, I mean, at the end of the day, we do have broken so-called families to that extreme, that it's going to just take more than some therapy intervention. You know, it's going to have to take a lot of work. It really is. You got people out here right now, you know, that commit suicide because they have no one that loves them. They have no love coming from relatives because of whatever the situation is, and they just say, "Well, hey, what's you know, what's worth even living?" So they take their own self out. We have that, but and a lot of you who are into religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Israelite, or whatever other type of religion, and you got relatives out there in that type of situation, and you don't even care because you're part of the problem. And you know, what true God will advocate something like that to allow people amongst humanity to exist like that? So what that brings the question about your religious belief, philosophy, and teachings. And then another thing too is that, you know, I say this, you know, it's a lot. I mean, there are a lot of relatives that have done so much stuff to divide others amongst their relative bloodline that they ain't never questioned about it. You know what I'm saying? And I knew somebody like that that's related to me, although they're no longer here. You know, and they was never brought to question about that. But that's why they died the way they died. You know, because like they say, karma comes around to bite you in the behind. You know, but hey, you know, I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I remember when I was in the pro-Black conscious community, and I used to hear people always say, well, unity starts at home. Some would use the other narrative, well, it takes a village to raise a unquote family. which most of you don't even apply them concepts. You just want to talk to be heard, like somebody say. You know what I'm saying? But this thing with internal issues going on within these bloodlines, amongst us as soul people, we have to do a lot more work to address. And of course, I don't have all the answers. I'm just an individual. But we do have to use the proper methods much as possible to address this, because the way we're trying to address it definitely is apparently not working. And you know, I really say that this is why you got so many of our younger brothers and sisters, even like from the generations we came from, resorting to the streets, getting involved in crime, ending up in prison or dead. You see what I'm saying? Because of the home being broken. And with that said, I'm gonna hand the mic back over to the brother, but that was just part of the last thing I wanted to add to my message tonight. And thanks, brothers and sisters, throughout the social media sphere, for listening in, and in the comment chat section for listening in. And with that said, I digress.